Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to an afternoon cast with Kosala, also known as Marventus. Gorgeous afternoon here in southern Hertfordshire. Sun is shining, snow is falling, and I am going to show you what a successful Baneling defense against an early Terran rush looks like. As always, casting from my own games, documenting my learning experience through the Bronze League. So let's take a look at where we are now. We have in the bottom right hand corner myself as the purple Zerg. In the bottom left hand corner, nice and close by, we have got the red Terran and the Mac. I am starting out doing my usual thing, scouting away, and whilst that's occurring, I've got my drone production underway. Now I've done things slightly differently in this beginning. I am experimenting with different kinds of beginnings. And you see I have an overlord coming out at 10-10. Normally I will plop out a spawning pool at 10 supply, but instead I now go for overlord and spawning pool at 14 supply, or something to that effect, just to test out what happens when it comes to optimizing mineral gathering. So at 10 supply I plop out an overlord, I grab a drone, and then I go scouting. So here we go, we've grabbed our drone over here. And he's off to go scouting, and because I sent my overlord right, I sent my drone left, or did I? Let me just take a look and see if I'm lying to you. No, actually he is indeed going left. My FPS shot to hell there, and now it's back. There we go, there we go. So our drone is off doing a little scouting routine, and he finds the enemy base nice and early. So once he gets in there, I run around the place a little bit, and I've started doing this now as well. Once I'm in the enemy base, I do rounds of patrols in the base and try to scout as much as I possibly can while I wait for him to basically kill me. So let me see if I did that in this game. I'm pretty sure I did. Yep, there I am setting my patrol route within the enemy base, so to speak. So I keep running around in a circle on patrol waypoints and trying to see as much as I can. Here I am setting that down now. Okay, let's get our production tab up, see what the hell we're doing here. Now you see, he started marine production. This is fairly standard beginning. We have our command center, we have our barracks. Nothing terribly unusual going on here. So while this is happening, I am doing my normal thing. A spawning pool has gone up at 14 supply. And let's see, as soon as that comes out, I've got a queen on the way. And I'm busily doing my macroing, my producing as normal. Back to Mr. Andy Mac, who is now going to be in this game trying an early game Terran rush. Now if you remember my earlier casts, I used to have such a huge amount of problems with this concept, and I've been looking around in the Starcraft forums as well, on the official Blizz site, and there are quite a few threads on the area of how to deal with this. So I stuck my own thread up, and some advice did come out of that, and the basic concept was use Banelings. Now I never used to use Banelings. I'm not a big fan of Banelings, but I decided, well, there might be a reason why I'm not succeeding against the early Terran rush. So I decided to give the Baneling experiment a go. So I'm going through my standard routine here. I've parked a Zergling at the one Zelnaga tower available in this particular map. My initial Zerglings go in for scouting round number 2, and I see the dual barracks configuration. So at this point, I know for sure that he's going to be coming at me with a marine marauder rush. So how does one deal with this situation? So I did two things. I decided to be very cunning here. See, he hasn't actually got a lot of marines out here, and one thing I could have done is basically mass produce Zerglings and come running in here. But I decided this time to not do that and lay a very, very cunning little trap. So I've got my 2 Zerglings sitting by the base, waiting to see the marine marauder push coming towards me. I plonked down a second base, and all the while I'm busily gathering resources. I've also gotten my first gas, because I'm expecting to go from my Zergling to Banelings, which is going to require some gas, and then the natural evolution out of that is going to be towards Roach Mutalists, so I'm going to need lots of gas for that as well. So I get the second gas as well, and I start pumping away. Now you see there are some notable buildings missing here, so pretty soon I'm going to be plopping up a Baneling's nest, and the second hatchery is going to start producing its initial Zergling group. Now at this point I was actually planning to sacrifice this hatchery, because the first thing that these guys are going to do in the Marine Marauder push when he comes out here is he's going to see this hatchery. And 9 times out of 10 they're going to sit here and just pummel away at this hatchery for a while. Which is great, because it buys you a few extra seconds that you need. So marine production going, mineral production going well, gas production starting to catch up, my Baneling's nest coming out, a queen coming out for extra defense, and Zerglings being produced that are going to be morphed into Banelings in just a second. So far the plot thickens as we speak. The plot thickens, the plan is set now. Let's see if it works. So over here, let's take a look at what our Terran is doing. Huge amounts of Marines out, a reactor on top of mine on one of the barracks in order to produce at a faster rate. He's doing everything he's supposed to be doing for a solid Marine Marauder initial rush. Factory going up so that he can tech up from Marine Marauders after the initial push. Doing everything very well. We have a tech lab out on one of the barracks in order to ensure that Marauders can be produced. Take a look at his mineral line. Almost saturated, doing great. I move my Zerglings down and start taking out my second natural, and if you look at my first natural, see, I've only got a few Zerglings out, and I've got a queen out. Now why is this? This is because we're not actually going to be farming from this hatchery. As you remember, it's a trap. It's just a diversion of a maneuver. Therefore we don't want to overinvest in this hatchery, because you know we're going to lose it anyway. So our main secondary income source is actually going to come from the hatchery point down here, and this is where we're going to grow from for the mid game. So the first expansion here was just a trap, so I'm keeping it nice and light. Back at the main base, our Baneling's nest has gone up. We're teching up to a lair so that we can research the centrifugal hooks, which is very, very important. And the metabolic boost, which will be showing up. I think I may have skipped the metabolic boost this time, because I took all of my Zerglings and turned them into Banelings. So our Zerglings are done with our secondary expansion point here, and the key tactic I used here is because this is the only entrance point up here where they can march up. So I knew that the likely plan would be that this Marine Marauder push would come down here, get delayed at the hatchery while it nuked it down, and then come up this ramp. In order to maximize the effect of the Banelings, you kind of want to attack from 2 sides, because that's when stuff is going to be most fun. So I wanted to have a group of Zerglings right over here, and I wanted to have a group of Zerglings right over here morphing as Banelings and coming at the approaching Marine Marauder push from both sides. So let's just move this along now for down to about minute marker 13. Still producing from this hatchery, but as you can see, nowhere near saturated. The third hatchery has not gone up yet. Everybody's morphing into Banelings there, and I'm going to have another group over here morphing into Banelings there. And I've transferred most of my drones from there to the new hatchery point over here now in preparation for what is to come. And here we go. We have the first push out happening now. The Marines and Marauders are going looking for us. Now thankfully this bought me a nice little extra bit of time, because they didn't actually know where I was. Right, he didn't see this. He pushed right past across to the parallel line and went hunting with his entire band of units. And this would have been completely funny if I had walked in here with a large mass of Zerglings. But he finally gets it right, and he's heading down. He's heading down towards our base, goes through our gold expansion point, and then spies the hatchery as he comes down here. See, in the meantime, we've got a second batch of Zerglings now in the top right. We have our first batch in the bottom left. Everybody's morphed into Banelings. What do we have here? We've got 9 there. We've got about 12. Okay, quite a lot. We actually don't need this many Banelings, but I decided to be on the safe side anyway. See here, this is where our hatchery comes in handy. See, he started moving up the slope, saw the hatchery, stopped, did this, and is busy thinking, well, this is freaking fantastic. I am nuking my Zerg opponent. Look at this. Look at the size of this army. It is... What do we got here? We've got almost 2 full command groups worth of Marines and Marauders. And we've got about 1 command group worth of Banelings. Check out the hilarity that ensues here. Right, in comes the mass of things. I sacrifice my queen to distract them for a little bit, and while this is happening, I select my Banelings and roll in from both sides. Look at this. Death, destruction, oh my goodness, and oh my goodness, it's completely over. While that's happening, I pop out roaches, which are happily building as well. And then I take my group of roaches and I head right into his base and annihilate the crap out of it. Right, and this happened so quickly that you'll notice the first time I walked into his base, I actually sat around for a little bit wondering which of these amazing amounts of undefended units and buildings I'm supposed to be killing first. You'll see that in just a second. So let's see what we have here. We've got about 6-7 roaches morphing there. We have an additional 7 there, 5 there. And basically this is all I needed really, 2 rows of roaches. And I grabbed all of those and I went off to the enemy base and had some fun with it. And he was actually completely committed to this. So now he's busily building in a hurry. His barracks is doing, and he's starting to put out starports and upgrades. He's not building units. This is a major mistake. He should have understood that I was going to come back with something and built a mass of units. But he didn't do that. So all he has defending it is these 6 marines and 1 marauder. And in come all of these roaches. Right, 1.5 rows of roaches. And here we go. Down go the defenders. Tra-la-la-la-la. This is what happens when early game rushes don't work out. Yada yada yada. And here we are. That is the end of those marines. And at this point I'm sitting around wondering, great, what do I kill next for a second? And there goes the GG. Game is over. And then I started nuking the additional or the tech lab and the reactor first, and then came the barracks, and that was the end of that. So there you go, folks. Most important Baneling strategy of all. We know that they're going to be coming up the slope. Let them come into a nice open area. Make sure you positioned your Banelings in 2 opposite corners. Assign them to the same command group or hotkey, and then just come rolling in from both sides. And that's all she wrote. After that, beef up your roaches, make sure your production is nice and solid, and go and nuke them. Hope you enjoyed this, boys and girls. More to come later on. Ta-ta!